We have just put in our objection to the current planning application, which we were able to do up until we were given an extra day at the last moment, having negotiated another week to put us in line with the objection from the Balkan Parish Council, who were obliged to object to it because they held a very free and fair poll in the village. Almost 60% of residents voted, which is very good for local voting. And on this current application, 60% of people said, no, we do not want a quadrilla here, in whatever guise. They asked two other questions as well. And the answer in each case was that a majority of the residents who answered it opposed the idea of oil and gas exploitation at Balkan. So we worked very hard. We had a lot of people. Our air expert is here this evening, Laurie, thank you. We each took different sections, and then Catherine and I tried to sort of knock it to shape at the end, and we finished pretty close to the wire, but we got it in. It was 66 pages at the end of it, with some appendices which totaled 9.2 megabytes. And when we'd done it, we thought, we've done a good job, and then we wondered if they were ever going to read it. However, we have to hope at least the planning department will read it. So we have had, really, in Balkan, from a standing start, because anyone, is this true? Anyone in the village who knows anything about the oil and gas industry probably hasn't been part of our group. There's one exception, one retired guy who has very much been helping us. But we have had to become, I wouldn't say experts, that would be silly, but we have had to inform ourselves about the whole process of oil and gas exploitation. And then we had to inform ourselves about planning regulations. And here I would say there are various things. I mean, as Brenda said, first of all, we have to communicate. And two of the things that I had done, or what I was going to talk about, were A, that DEC online survey. The last time the government did an online survey about something like this, 200 people replied. Pathetic. We have to do better than that this time. All you have to do, if you put it into whatever search engine you use, nice Mozilla Firefox, possibly slightly less nice Google, you just put in DEC, consultation, oil and gas licensing, and it'll come up, and there's a little box which says, it says online survey. Get that? And say what you think. We will have up on our Frack Free Balkan website a précis of what wonderful Sue Taylor, who is one of our members, has done as a sort of, she did a longer one, she did a short one, just picking out some of the main points as a possible reply. You can make up your own. I sort of fleshed out what she had done and added a few things myself. Yes?
On the Thameside website.
It's a wonderful one. It's absolutely fantastic. The Thameside website is phenomenal, their reply.
It's completely clear and breaks down some really hard scientific facts that the professors and
Yeah, it's very good. But it's quite long, and I suspect it urges you at the end of it to cut and paste. I'm not sure that cutting and pasting is the answer with government departments. I think you have to try and do your own thing. I've seen a lot of the replies, the objections on the West Sussex County Council website to our planning application, which are just cut and paste, and I think the planner at some stage is going to yawn and say, oh God, not another of those. Give me something different. But it is fantastic, the Thameside response to that. The other thing I was going to say about, John has already referred to, is the Greenpeace wrong move. For goodness sake, sign that. Tell everyone. This is one of the things I think we have to do. You look at the fracking industry. They've just had that conference in London, Shale Gas World. They are organised. They talk to each other. We're talking to each other now, and we're talking not just on a national scale, but on an international scale. We're in touch in Balkan with groups, obviously in the States and Australia, but also in Romania, in France, in Holland, all over the place. And I think we have to work together. If there's anything to be gained from talking to other countries in the EU, that's good. Maybe the EU could come galloping to our rescue. They have much tighter regulations than the ones this government is trying to loosen all the time. Talking regulations, self-regulation, which is essentially what the oil and gas companies are doing at the moment. Complete waste of time. One of the things that one of our wonderful FEBRA, Fracking Balkan Residents Association members discovered, she put in a Freedom of Information request to the HSE, the Health and Safety Executive, who are meant to regulate the construction and the proper monitoring and operations of wells. Now, what they're set up to do really is do that offshore. So the whole onshore thing is a bit new for them. But they are meant to do that. They're charged with doing that. The wonderful Di asked a lot of quite probing questions. There was one they refused to answer, but on all the others, the picture came through fantastically clearly. They had done almost nothing. They hadn't had meetings with the Environment Agency, which was one of the statutory requirements. They hadn't ever been anywhere near Balkan. Goodness me, no, they live up in Aberdeen, for goodness sake. And they had really not done what they were meant to do. And we have put that loud and clear into our objection to the planning application, because one of the things that the planners have to do is consider whether the statutory consultees have done their work. This quite obviously has not been the case in the case of HSE. So you have to pursue that kind of detail. I think probably the HSE isn't set up to look at anything anywhere. And as long as we can keep bringing that to the attention of the planners and to government, you cannot ignore the fact that these guys are meant to be monitoring and regulating, and they are not doing anything of the sort. Anyway, please do fill in that DEC consultation. It doesn't take too long to do. As I say, the Thameside site has a wonderful one. We've got one on Fracking Balkan. I think another little guideline is going to be going up on Vanessa's Fracking Sussex. So we have to do that. We have to somehow get to the politicians. I mean, the Green Party, bless their cotton socks, and I'm not afraid to say that, David, although I praise you for your modesty. The Green Party is the only political party at the moment who is firmly against fracking. I think the Lib Dems might weaken. I think as the election gets closer... Sorry, someone over there, hand up?
So I was going to ask, if we were talking about solidarity, what about all of the groups getting together and not marching near Downing Street and doing that in front of the House of Parliament and all those meetings?
We've all done our individual marches and protests outside Downing Street. Yeah, it's probably a good idea, but I think there are other practical things we can do as well. I'm really more interested in talking about some of those. We need to talk to each other, certainly. We need, whenever you have the opportunity, and this is something I think it was Marina said, whenever you have the opportunity, tell someone who doesn't know about it. I gave a talk not so long ago over in East Sussex. We were asked by 3 communities there if we could send people over to speak to people in their village halls 3 successive Saturdays. Sue went once, I went once, and Becky went once. And it was great, because it's lovely being in a place where you feel that everyone is on side. They're all your friends, we're all thinking the same thing. But actually being put in a hall where they really don't know, where you feel they're learning, where their jaws are dropping, that's good. I came up, I got a permit to travel to come to Brighton from Balkan today, and we got onto the train, and there was, the ticket inspector was right there. I'd travelled on the train quite a lot, I knew his face, and so I said, oh great, you can sell us a ticket, which he did. And towards the end of that transaction, I started talking to him about what we were doing, and I hope I have enthused him about signing up, doing the online survey for the DEC thing, I don't know. But you have to try, and try to get to the people who do not know, who haven't yet made up their minds, who believe what they read in the papers, who believe what that nice Mr. Cameron says, these are the people whose minds we have to change. We know that it is bad, it's dangerous, it's evil, and it's money grubbing. A lot of people haven't got there yet, and they're the people we need to convince. If you can find some way of making it clear that it's actually not going to make that much money either, that's another constituency to address. Get to the financiers, get to the guys in the city, influence them. If they're not going to make bucks, they're not going to invest. But think creatively, talk to each other, get out there and spread the word. Good luck.